Vote with your wallet, homies. We did so with Shadows of Change. It flopped, and rightly so. But the fallout from that led to what I think is one of the better DLCs and campaign updates for Total War in recent memory. Thrones of Decay is not perfect. It has some bugs and design flaws, but I do think it's worth the money this time around, at the very least for whichever race you want to play most. Remember, you can buy Dwarfs, Empire, or Nurgle separately, or all together in a bundle for a slight discount. So if you would like to go through my affiliate link to support the channel, you can do so starting at 3 p.m. BST, 10 a.m. EST today. That is when sales will go live on all platforms. Link will be in the pinned comment and description below. Xala is the official Sega retailer. It will give you a Steam copy of Thrones of Decay. Thank you for the support. It is very much appreciated. Hope y'all have been enjoying the content so far, and we got lots more cooking. Let's jump in. Call me Joseph Conrad, because I'm taking y'all on a tour into the heart of darkness, into the depths of the Beastmen's lair. This forest is old, very old, and something is wrong here. Foul idols carved in obscene runes glow in glory to the dark gods as the Brayherds gather under the banner of Taurox the Slaughterhorn. It's one angry cowman, a bull demon blessed and cursed by the blood god himself, an avatar of violence, speed, and momentum. Sure, he murders innocent people by the thousands, forged head to toe in bronze with rune-tortured axes, but hey, at least doesn't cheat on his wife. It's a dangerous excursion for Elspeth von Draken and the Guns of Nuln. The Drakwold is not a hospitable environment, even in the best of times, and fighting in the shadow of a giant herdstone, a monument of corrupting energy, is not the best of times. This is the Cloven One's home turf. Let's see if the Dark Lady and her Knights of Death can make it their own. I have not played this map in Game 3, I do not believe. Don't think I've ever seen it since pre-launch for Sons in the Fury, really. God damn, does it look good. This is atmosphere. This is lighting. This is Warhammer. If a quarter of the maps in the game had this much flavor and ambiance, they would win awards based on art direction alone. And in the center lies a cracked and writhing hellscape with a monument to the ruinous ones, borne aloft by massive chains. I don't know how they hung those. The thing's pretty huge. Kind of thing to make your blood run cold. But Taurox the Brass Bull runs hot. He's gas like Initial D, and he's got a bodyguard of sorts, Gorgon, and a group of Minotaurs who have some hellish warping energies going on, turning into chaos spawn before our very eyes. Found this last night, reported it to CA. We think it might be only on the playtest or my specific files, because they couldn't recreate it, so it might not be widespread, but once the patch goes live, if y'all run into this with Minotaurs, come back here and leave a comment, and I will run it up the chain, because it's hella ugly. Mostly avoided this replay with the camera work. Not going to impact things too much, but those meshes are super out of whack, even if they are maybe a little bit thematic. So Taurox, Doom Bull Lord with some serious rip and tear capabilities. Behind him, one of my favorite monsters in the series. Strength from flesh and high attack make the Gorgon jump real nicely into Game 3. Can hunt cav, blend infantry, and beat the brakes off even a Carmine Dragon in a 1v1 if Elspeth gets caught out. Further up the hillside, Vanguard deployed and ready to rush the Empire position. A Bray Shaman of the Laura Beast leads the herds. Weisson's Wild Form and Transformation of Kadan for that Manticore summon provides some additional pressure for the gunpowder troops Nolan is sure to bring. And on a Tuskgore Chariot has some solid line breaking as well. Zongor, a couple Goreherd, lots of Ungors, and some Chaos Warhounds who will try and sacrifice their lives for a juicy artillery piece or gunpowder regiment if the time arises. On the Emperor side, it's Elspeth, the Graveyard Rose, atop a Carmine Dragon. Pale Scythe grants her spell mastery and magic resist as spells are cast around her. She has the fate of boring, left click, touch dick, and the unit dies. My favorite spell, can't you tell? Darkwalker for physical resist, and Strider, Death's Timekeeper, which heals her and damages enemies, and unquestionably the strongest breath attack in the game now, which some viewers did make me aware is fairly accurate to tabletop, where Corsating Blast was a strength 10 sniper that ignored armor saves. It tracks extremely well, can devastate infantry, cav, single entities most importantly. Have not discovered a consistent way to dodge it yet. Hurricane's Jaeger Corps, Hawk and Long Rifles with Snipe, Shieldbreaker and Black Powder Discipline, and then of course we have Theodore Bruckner on his unique Demigryph Reaper. Incredibly cool model, but stripped of most of his abilities here. Now he does have his Baleflame Amulet, but he did not bring his combat steroids in this one, and he doesn't have access to a lot of his kit from campaign, which I actually think is a mistake. Right now, he doesn't have access to his Unbreakable or Executioner ability in multiplayer, which means his identity and combat role is kind of in question, because he can't make consistent use of Baleflame Amulet if he just routes off the map when he gets low. He needs to be unbreakable for that. And an Executioner should be able to execute even if they have to tweak the numbers a bit in multiplayer only so it's not busted. I think he needs some work on the battle side, but he should be very useful in y'all's campaigns, and frankly, you can just bring him for the drip because the dude looks badass. Next to him are the Knights of the Black Rose, pure melee cap with gorgeous models themselves, 8 bonus versus infantry, and high defense to allow them to sit and trade in the grind. Unit that should see a lot of play versus Skaven and Beastmen, probably a lot of factions, honestly. And Outrider grenade launchers got buffed in this update. I do believe they are quite devastating versus lightly armored infantry, which has always been a role they're good at. They're even better at it now. Beastmen better pucker them butts. They're going for a ride on the Funky Town train. This was wild. Knights of the Black Rose with the downhill charge, momentum carrying them all the way through the Ungor herd formation. And the chaff gets thrown so far here, they literally die to fall damage. Instant. 100 kills on the charge, which unfortunately the Knights of War do not get credit for. They should have. But already those Crimson Gauntlets stained red with Beastmen blood, smexual impact damage, made me so horny, so horny. And grenade launchers, blasting the other meat shield unit apart. So great start for the Empire. Ironically, they do start this battle with a distinct terrain advantage, despite this being home court for Taurox. The Cloven Ones are on the up and up, attacking uphill directly into the teeth of this Imperial defense. Elspeth von Draken in the background, letting it rip with the first of her breath attacks. She may want to save those for single entities, but of course this was an early battle. Still getting used to the new units. And Metzgor Summon, Transformation of Kadan, going directly after the Hergig's Jaeger Corps, who are currently being ripped apart by Chaos Warhounds with poison. The ambush was early, it struck swiftly, and Gluteus Maximuses are being eaten. Important gunpowder troop for the Empire entirely shut down. Minibus charged up the center, Taurox the Brass Bull leading the charge. Get another look at that breath attack that came a few moments ago. Gorgon and the rest of the Minotaurs looking for some Knights of the Black Rose to rip and tear asunder. Taurox the Brass Bull opening a big gap in the Imperial line for the rest of the monsters to charge through. Elspeth will be watching from on high, does not want to land in amidst the monstrous infantry, be a good way for her to die really early on in the battle, and they will need her. Fate of Boring hitting the Gore Herd, and they will cease to exist momentarily. Manticore is causing all kinds of problems in the Imperial back line. The entire known formation has just kind of been thrown into disarray here. Though the Beastmen are charging uphill and are having some issues flanking around behind, they're in a pretty good position right now to get a good assault in on the main force and then have the Minotaurs close in from the flank. Taurox and his bus have already broken through, putting a lot of pressure on the Imperial left, and the Beastmen holding on to a lot of reserves, waiting for an opportune moment to strike and maybe close the vice around these Imperial defenders who are looking a bit beleaguered and shell-shocked only 2.5 minutes into this game. Grenade launchers being fired in from the side. Outriders should be able to clear a lot of these Zongor and Gore Herd out. Flock of Doom in the center, hitting a big section of the Imperial battle formation, and the Jade Wizard already in CQB with Taurox, which is the last place in the world he wants to be. But keep an eye on those Knights of the Black Rose. With their 8 bonus for infantry and these downhill charges, they can make mincemeat out of this Bray Horde attack, and they've done so far. I'm a little bit sad that they're not going to get credit for those 100 kills. I guess we can just add that to their tally at the end of this battle. Some of the Zongor are waiting in the back line to defend against Elspeth von Draken and her Carmine Dragon if she decides to dive into the rear in an attempt to shut down all this Ungor Raider play. Knights of the Black Rose back into the fray now, and Elspeth wants to feed her Predator some mutton. A lot of lamb chops in the rear. Zongor coming in to reinforce, but the Ungor Raiders will be forced forward, and that might open up an opportunity for the Knights of the Black Rose to come in. Theodore Bruckner shanking some goats with that intimidating lance, and Reaper, who's looking freaking awesome right now, towering over the battlefield. Ungor Raiders trying to snipe him out, but he has 120 plus armor. Gonna be pretty difficult to snipe him with crappy, dinky Beastmen bows. Taurox is making his way over, and we might have a duel momentarily as the Minotaurs with great weapons fight the Knights of the Black Rose. And Red Gauntlets notwithstanding, those swords are not cut out for a duel with a Gorgon and the might of Slaughterhorn Man Cleavers. They will wisely retreat, Earthblood activated, But they are being hunted by the Beastmen Super Predators, and they better get their ass moving or they will be chopped down to size in short order. Bray Shaman of the Lord Beasts on the Tough Scored Chariot also making it into melee as Hergig's Jaeger Corps lay down some suppressive fire. Minotaurs and Gorgon really giving good account of themselves right now, especially with Weiss's Wild Form activated, giving them additional weapon damage. Zongor attacking from one side, Ungor Herd attacking from the other. Knights of the Black Rose are surrounded, but they're cut out for that kind of assault. And Theodore Bruckner is being taken to Pound Town by Taurox the Brass Bull, which is unsurprising. If you're going to go Theodore and make him real cheap and not give him his... Oh, big breath attack coming in from Elspeth von Draken, clearing out some of this chaff. But if you're not going to give Theodore Bruckner his combat steroids, which he does have access to in multiplayer, then you can't expect him to be able to beat Taurox in a 1v1. It's not going to go well for him or Reaper. He's losing that very handily. And I would honestly say if you don't bring the Stormlance or his Executioner Sword, you maybe just don't bring him at all. Because with 55-40, he's just not going to be that impactful. He has the Duelist trait, which means he's not that good at clearing infantry. And in a straight duel with a stat line like that, it's just unimpressive. He's not going to be able to take on any of the heavy hitters in this game. But he's not done yet. In the shadow of that colossal Herdstone, Gorgon is scything down the Empire Spears, and Elspeth von Draken coming down for a duel against Taurox the Brass Bull, backed up by the Knights of the Black Rose and a bunch of Spearmen. Earthblood will heal up Theodore a little bit, but no burst healing on the Imperial side. They don't have regrowth. You're not going to be able to get him back into fighting shape, really. Another Manticore summon. Transformation of Kadan from the Bray Shaman of the Lore of Beasts. And the Imperial battle lines are broken. Sundered now. Beastmen aren't looking super healthy either. Balance bar is dead even. And now the fighting is moving towards the edge of the forest as Theodore charges back into the fray with his Stormlance. Taurox did get stabbed in the side. Shuddered. Staggered momentarily. But this duel will be a familiar picture. Deja vu. He charges in, gets his ass beat. Dog, I ain't posting that shit. And it's about to get even worse for him as the Gorgon comes in from the side. Can they take down Theodore? And do they want to? Remember, the only item or ability he brought this game was that Bale Flame Amulet. We have not seen it in action yet, but we're about to. Here it goes. It activates purple flames, burning the Gorgon, and at first you're like, oh, that's doing nothing. And then you look back and, well, damn, that did like 3,000 damage. And if you stay in the fire, it does even more. And even once you leave, it continues to burn. So maybe there's some interesting play there where you could like drop a net of Ammontok as he dies and just trap a single entity lord on top of the fire. And it literally might be able to one-shot you if you just sit on top of the flame. Might be worth some testing. Ended up doing like 2,800 damage there. So certainly not bad. Oh, God. Let's move the camera back a little bit further than that. That's pretty ugly. Don't like that. Don't want that. Minotaurs turning into Chaos Spawn. And in and amidst the spears, they will find their end. Minotaurs with great weapons have done some work against the Knights of the Black Rose this game, but nothing super spectacular. Flock of Doom clearing out the rest of this infantry as Taurox and the Gorgon realize that a duel is imminent. The Dark Lady has no reason to play fair, and watch this. Taurox, in the middle of a roll, gets sniped out by that. Oh my lord. Started that with 5,600 HP, down to 2,900. So like, what, 3,700 damage? And then, what, 2 attacks? Led an attack instantly upon landing, and then another one directly after that, and Taurox is dead. Taurox is dead in one wombo combo. Happy feet. That ain't Falco. GG, well played. Taurox is donezo. And the balance bar immediately shifts heavily in the Empire's favor. But, as you see, video's 20 minutes long. We're only like 14 minutes in. It's not going to end there. There's more coming. I have not figured out how to play around that breath attack. It tracks so well. Taurox wasn't in the middle of his roll animation, but he was just coming out of it. He was still moving pretty fast, and he got dumpstered by that breath attack, and then Elspeth landed, and 2 more attacks was enough to send him routing. So not a lot left on either side. It will come down to single entities. Maybe Taurox will be able to return, but it'll mostly be up to the Gorgon and to Elspeth von Draken, who is hunting down the Bray Shaman on his Tusk-Scored Chariot. Big attack there that will cause him to rout. Knights of the Black Rose will maybe try to harry them towards the edges of the map. Outriders are out of ammunition. Hurricane's Jaeger Corps still firing in, but only a handful of models remaining after they got pooped on by the Chaos Warhouse with Poison Ambush and the Manticore Summon coming over the top. Gorgon now fighting Elspeth. She will have to commit at some point to help chunk down the Gorgon, because otherwise they just don't have enough ammunition or cavalry to kill it, but does need some support there in a duel. Good thing for her is that she has Dust Timekeeper, so she can get some regen. Even if she gets low, she can cast that single target spell, get some of her health back. And she does have support from cavalry, so Knights of Morr should be charging uphill pretty soon here to their Guardian's aid. Make sure the Dark Lady does not fall in battle against the Gorgon. She is losing the duel, lost a lot of HP in that fight so far, and Taurox, with his Rune Tortured Axes in tow, just absolutely ripping apart that Outrider regiment. They will break and shatter. Knights of the Black Rose are coming over. Elspeth, you've been in there for too long, girl. Fate Abuna coming down. Not the best single target spell, but also the only spell that she brought, so use it where you can. It'll do some damage to the Gorgon, and Taurox is fighting off these Knights of Morr, who will be ushered in to meet their maker in the afterlife. Taurox is like one hit from death, though. Elspeth comes over, gets a rear charge, he's dead. So he might have to, like, bust a move like LaDainian Tomlinson. Juke left, juke right. Find a way to escape from the Carmine Dragon, who is back up in the air and safe now. No more breath attacks, though. If she had held on to one more, this game would already be in the bag. She did kind of waste it against the Zongor earlier, but again, this was an early battle. Four-armed Behemoth, the Colossedon, being swarmed by the Imperial Remnant Spearmen and Knights of the Black Rose. With those scything arms, born, bred, and forged to make war and cause untold numbers of carnage. And the Beastmen are clawing their way back into this one, literally. Bray Shaman unleashing... I don't know that I've ever seen that animation before. Am I dumb? Has that been in since Warhammer 2? Did that come with Silence and Fury? When did that come? That's actually really cool. He's shooting like flamethrowers of Gur magic out his staff. That's dope. He's gonna die here. For sure. But the Knights are breaking off. The Spearmen might break here. Taurox is one hit from death. He's wavering, and he might just rout when Elspeth flies overhead in the shadow of the Dark Lady. Oh, he's totally gone. One more attack. And the Brass Bull has been brought low by the Graveyard Rose. Elspeth putting in some serious work. 150 kills. Approaching 4,000 value now. She has been a monster this game, despite not playing it perfectly. But she has one last mountain to climb. The Gorgon. The four-armed Behemoth. Can anything stop this thing's rampage? Strength from Flesh. That percentage-based regen when it's in melee. Super helping out. And oh my god! Imperial Spear Regiment just sent flying down the mountainside. And just like the Ungor herd before them, dying from fall damage and of course being smeared by those gigantor cloven hooves. Now Elspeth charging in from behind. Gorgon's got 4,200 health remaining. Elspeth much less, but she has spears backing her up. And this duel is really important. The Gorgon wants to kind of back away and then charge in, but got staggered 2 or 3 times there as he tried to move away from the Carmine Dragon. Maybe forced to just commit here. Fate Abuna coming down as well, trying to clear out the chaff, the Outriders, so it doesn't get charged in the rear. But yeah, has to attack Elspeth von Draken now. Having some trouble with target acquisition, but with all these spears swarming in as well, I think the low armor of the Gorgon would not allow it to sustain in melee, even if he was able to kill Elspeth. Couple attacks into the Dark Lady of Nuln. Spearmen are wavering. Weisson's Wild Form activated. Bray Shaman Lore Beast did return. A lot of routing on both sides. But this battle will go the way of Elspeth von Draken and Wissenlind. In the shadow of a hellish herdstone in one of the creepiest forests known to man, Elspeth von Draken put in work. 4,032 value, 149 kills. She was awesome. Theodore Bruckner was not. In all the battles I've seen so far, and I've only played with or against Bruckner 2 or 3 times, he has been bad. He's been bad in every single game. I don't know that he is bad, but I do know that his kit and synergy is a little bit lacking right now, and that some of the stuff that he has in campaign, I think should also carry over to multiplayer so that he can be more useful and have a more unique niche. Be that as it may, Knights of the Black Rose were great. They each got probably close to 300 kills if we count the 100 kills that they tossed the Overheard over the hilltop. That was amazing. Taurox didn't have an incredible game because he got lasered into oblivion by the Carmine Dragon. Gorgon was awesome, earned silver chevrons, and that ferocious Beastman attack, even though it was on the downslope and was attacking uphill, ended up being pretty impactful and caused all kinds of problems for the Empire there. Really like the Outrider play. They each did really well, 100 and 200 kills respectively, and some really awesome units and plays on both sides in a super atmospheric and cool looking map. Hope y'all enjoyed it.